to call in. He said, we're not voting. We don't need it. So we don't need a quorum. No. Could you have sent us an email?
Mr. McCray, can we start now?
It's 6:02. I'm taking 2 minutes off of the end of the meeting. $6:03. It's in the mic or something.
It was just on. Okay. Let's try this again. Good evening. The time is 6:03. We shall officially call this meeting East Tampa Community Redevelopment Area Community Advisory Committee to order. If we will all rise for a moment of silence and for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance. Our Pledge of Allegiance. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, we'll have roll call. Ms. Frankie Jones. Here. Ms. Gaines. Ms. Headland.
Here.
Ms. Martinez.
Here.
Mr. DeLeosa.
Present.
Mr. Carrington. Ms. Ziegler.
Present.
Ms. White.
Here.
Ms. Tate.
Present.
Mr. Costa.
Present.
Jeffrey Johnson. Present. We don't need a quorum tonight because we're not voting on any action items, so we'll move forward with the meeting. At any time that we do have remaining, we will allow it to be reclaimed to you for you to enjoy yourselves as well as your families. At this time, we'll have public comments. We'll start with those who are in the room. So if you have any public comments, please state your name. Is there a podium over there?
No.
We have to work with the city staff to make sure that this room is arranged accordingly.
Correct.
He's right behind me.
He don't work in this building.
Oh. The man with the blue shirt.
Is there anybody that needs?
Yes, public comment. But either way, there's no podium or
I
microphone.
would ask whoever's speaking for public comment to come up front so we can make sure the microphones can hear.
Bet you they don't have to run it down.
Mr. Johnson.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They don't have it downtown.
Somebody wear a pacemaker? Something to control.
No, it might be from that, they got the door open. Maybe which one.
So hood. Speak loud enough so they can get to pick you up.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so you want me to get closer to that?
No. I'm not trying to. It'll get.
Good afternoon, Allison Hewitt, resident and business owner. I come to public comment to ask for 3 requests from the CAC. First request, as you motioned and approved a while back, that information for this meeting be provided in advance so that we are able, the community, are able to prepare comments to the agenda that are not based on emotion, but based on an ability to research and facts. The next request is that there are upcoming workshops for the housing as well as the commercial grants. I am asking that historically we've had sign-in sheets. Those sign-in sheets indicate people who are interested in what's happening in the CAC and the CRA, and that the notice for those meetings go out to that email list for the sign-in sheets. And number 3 is I have been making comments at the City Council about the CRP, Community Redevelopment Plans. I have made sure I have tried to ask that each plan contains a report on what has been done to achieve the plan. Not a list of projects that have been completed, but how are we following the plan that was created to redevelop East Tampa. So I ask that once the CRP draft is presented to you, that you make sure that you see whether or not the plan that you have approved, and that is the Bible for the CAC and the CRA that is included, because we only have 8 years left. We need to make sure we know if what we have done has been successful, and if it's not, then what's the reason for the change, if there is a change. Thank you.
Are there any other for public comments in the building?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Rick Kugler from New East Tampa neighborhood, and also on the County and City Planning Commission. And I'd like to, I've been reading the CRP for quite a while, and I still don't totally understand it. And I think you as a group have to come up with some really great decisions, really difficult decisions about it. The way I think of the CRP is pretty simple. It's to me, it's you don't give a person a fish so they eat for a day. You provide them with the tools to build those fishing boats and those fishing docks so they can feed their family and the whole community. So if we can always focus on getting the money, not who needs it the most, but who can do the most good for the most people with that money. So when we give money to somebody, and we award grants, we award loans, whatever, we try to focus on the people that can do the most good with that money. So if I wanted to build a theme park, I'd probably talk to Busch Gardens, not to my neighbor, who doesn't really have that expertise. So I think that's the way I think of the CRP is in a nutshell. It's about economic development, it's about housing, and it's about building the machinery that'll carry us forward into the future economically. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have 3 minutes.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Jason Rickmans. I'm just here to tell you guys about an event that I'm doing. It's going to be on Tuesday, September 16th from 6 to 8. It's free. I've experience in helping people keep their homes. The event is called From Risk to Relief. It's a workshop, property rescue, people that experience tough situations. For instance, I'm working with a client who lost their life savings to a contractor. Contractor didn't complete the project. The house is listed as a lot on tax appraiser website. The contractor just built them a box. It's incomplete. So just want to talk about issues like that: code enforcement, property taxes, code enforcement liens, and basically helping people do either one or two things: either keep the property with the help of family, or sell it and be able to get the proceeds, as opposed to code enforcement liens taking it, or them losing it with property taxes and so on and so forth. That's it. That's how
What's the name of the event again?
It's called From Risk to Relief.
And what was the time again and the location?
So it's going to be at Cohatch in West Tampa. And it's going to be from 6 to 8 on Tuesday, September 16th.
6 to 8. Do you have an address?
For Cohatch? Yeah, it's 2130 West Main Street.
Thank you.
You'll send Mr. McCray that flyer and he can send it out to those that may be interested in it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there any others for public comment?
Good evening, Connie Burton.
Good evening.
I'm here just to continue to remind the board of why the CRA was created and the duration of time that you have as a CRA, CAC board group, a limited amount of time. And so while many presenters will be coming with their objects and proposals and recommendations, I would like to refer you back to the meaning of why the CRAs were created. And as you take a deep dive and look around this community of East Tampa, measure the impact that residents, individually residents, have felt. Although they have constantly paid into the tip dollars, they have received very little. And most in our community don't ask for very much, based off of fear, based off of retaliation, based on not knowing how to articulate their issue. And so a lot of times we get bamboozled thinking sometimes the biggest objects is going to be the best objects for the people. But if you would just go and ask women and children and families in Grant Park, in Northview Hills, in Belmont Heights, what would be some of the primary things that they would need? And it would be securing a solid foundation for their housing, not for the housings that's coming, because many can't afford it. Even in Belmont Heights now, up along 21st Street, houses are being sold for almost $250,000. And so when you sign off during your duration of being on this CAC board, it's been the best good for whom? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any
Thank you,
remaining
Sister
for public comment in the room?
That was good.
Seeing there being no more public comment in the room, are there any public comments online? Thank you. At this time, we will have the approval of the August 5th minutes to be added to our October agenda due to an electronic concern with the city. So we do not have those minutes to approve. At this time, we will have presentations. The first, we will have East Tampa Wayfinding and Gateway Signage Project Update. I'm assuming that Mr. McCray has told each of you the time limit that you have to present.
Good evening, Bryce Feringer, Tampa CRA staff. Just to confirm, it is 10 minutes, Chair. Is that correct? Perfect. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I am happy to introduce the team from API, Mr. John Scheffel and Ms. Erin Conley. They came before this committee earlier this summer to do their introduction for the East Tampa Gateway and Wayfinding project. And this evening, they are going to provide an update on the programming phase of this project, in addition to some of the concepts that they put together. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn it over to API. Bryce?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us tonight. I'm John Scheffel. This is Erin Conley, and you've probably received several documents from staff going through the first two phases, as well as the third phase that we're currently in. And you may or may not have time to go through those documents. What our focus is tonight, I'm going to just give a very quick recap of the first two phases and what we did, as well as the survey results. And then focus more on the concept designs that we're showing tonight. I'm happy in the Q&A session to go into further detail about the stuff that I'm just giving a high-level overview on tonight. So in our first phase, as Bryce mentioned, we had a kickoff meeting with not only the city staff, we also had one here to hear public input, or to hear input from you all on this project, and that's been very helpful for us. In this phase, we did the detailed analysis and recommendations related to gateway signage, placemaking, and vehicular signage. We studied the circulation patterns. We delved deeper into the history of East Tampa, and we developed a navigation strategy that was specific to East Tampa. In the second phase, which is programming, we've had a lot of coordination with city staff. We had a really great meeting with FDOT, and we were being allowed to have a little more leeway with some of the requirements for East Tampa, since we have some particular speed limits we have to deal with. We developed navigational strategies for gateway and vehicular signage. We developed prototypical messaging. We developed a criteria for destinations to be included on signs, as well as which destinations would be included, and that does include parks and cemeteries. And then we drafted a sign location plan. In the current phase that we're in, we will be showing you tonight design concepts, and as part of this phase, we've also continued to have a series of meetings with city staff. We are presenting to you tonight to get input. I just want to, I have 2 pages here of kind of a summary of our analysis, and I just wanted to touch upon 3 or 4 of these that we thought were really important. So this program needs to establish an iconic gateway signage at key entry points to clearly define East Tampa's boundaries and create a strong sense of arrival. We want to utilize inexpensive banners or markers throughout the neighborhood to reinforce a sense of place, foster community identity, and visually tie together key areas or themes. And this will come into play when I show the concepts. We want to celebrate East Tampa's rich history and heritage and incorporate it into the signage in ways that educates, inspires, and reinforces a meaningful sense of place. And our last recommendation to city staff was we wanted to gather input from the community via survey and/or in-person stakeholder meetings. And that leads us to section 2. So an online survey was conducted. This was coordinated through city staff. We provided them a series of questions. It was distributed throughout the community to over 500 contacts in their system. In addition, it was sent to about 30 East Tampa neighborhood associations and organizations, and it was posted on the city's Nextdoor account. The survey was taken by 44 people, and there were 11 questions total. And the questions dealt with, what do you love most about East Tampa? What's most iconic or identifiable? What differentiates East Tampa from the rest of Tampa? What words best describe East Tampa? We asked some specific questions about where primary and secondary gateway signs should be. We also had a color palette and asked people to choose, up to 2 color palettes. We had different styles for gateway signs and wayfinding signs, and asked for people to make their selections. So I'm not going to go through each one of these. I do want to point out that there were 3 areas that were identified as the key areas for primary identification signs. Northbound 22nd Street, just north of I-4, eastbound on MLK, just past 275, and southbound on 50th at Lake Avenue in that kind of triangular area. So in our summary, words that kept popping up are the ones you see the biggest here. Historic, community, diverse, cultural, neighborly, evolving, generational, walkable, quiet, and green spaces. And there are a couple comments that struck us. It's the heart of the African American community. It has a lot of historical roots, and it's a central location convenient to accessing all parts of Hillsborough County. Aesthetically, so for the gateway signs that we showed, this Noonan sign was by far the favorite. On the right-hand side, vehicular directional signs, those 2 signs or sign families were the favorites. They have some similar qualities to them. The color palette at the bottom represents the preferred color palettes, and keep in mind it's not those colors; it's something within that family, within that palette. And then something that really struck us was this notion of East Tampa being it's centrally located. So we actually plotted it on a map, and if you look at the light blue, which is the boundaries of Tampa, and dark blue is the boundary of East Tampa, it does fall right at the intersection, just barely, but it falls within the heart of Tampa. So we thought that there might be something there to work with. So in our concept design, we wanted to be mindful of the wayfinding program that we are also working on developing for 4 CRAs for downtown Tampa. For each of the districts, they all have the same sign design, but it changes color and has a different symbol for each district. We want to be mindful of the EBOR signs because those are historic in nature, and we want to make sure that this system is, if it's historic, it doesn't emulate what's happening in EBOR. We also became aware of the East Tampa logo that was developed for the CRA action plan, and it being favorably received and being utilized on merchandise and even starting to be stamped in concrete. So you'll see this will appear in some of the concepts. The first concept is the most historical of all the ones that we show. We're going to zoom in here. So this one has, yeah, that's great. Thanks. So this has kind of a decorative border to the sign, but it's not too complex. It has an outline that's inset. It incorporates on the directional signs East Tampa as a marker on top of the sign. We have for this concept a decorative pole that's more historic. The intent being that this would be more of an off-the-shelf type pole versus a custom. It has a finial at the top. In this concept, we also lean into the established in 1911 or since 1911. On the back side of the sign, we have East Tampa. It's simple, just blue and an inset border. And then for this concept, for the banners for all the concepts, a lot of them we will show black and white photography, the same image. The intent here is that this is meant to be, it could be historic photography, it could be current photography, it could be art, it's something that's meant to convey culture and history and vibrancy and just really represent the community. And these banners would be different from one to another. And we've plotted probably 30 to 50 that would be helping define the borders and the main roads of East Tampa. One of the outcomes from the survey, a lot of people were confused about actually what the borders of East Tampa are. Some people thought that things in Ybor were actually part of East Tampa. All right, next concept.
Somewhere.
And then for each concept, we also show it in context, the gateway sign. In this concept, another thing that came up in the survey is several people mentioned the most iconic thing about East Tampa is the obelisk. And so we incorporate it into this concept. The East Tampa for the gateway sign here, this most resembles that Noonan sign. We've also incorporated a tagline called "At the Heart of It All," which leans back to this being the central point of Tampa. The form of these signs is a little bit simpler than option one, a little more modern. We incorporate the tagline on the signs. And here we have a double banner version. So the banners would always be double-sided, but this has 2 banners. And this one has, on one side would be East Tampa, or on one of the banners, the other would be more of this imagery. And we can go to the next one. Concept 3, this one takes it a little bit more modern. It still has a historic component in the gateway signs with having a brick and masonry base. For the secondary gateway sign, it's more of a column type element. We have a simple rounded top and rounded bottom, but at the top it has some dimension to it. And that roundedness comes into play in the banner design as well. On the back side of the signs, we incorporate photography. For the next 2 concepts, we incorporate the East Tampa CRA plan logo into the concept design. So for the gateway sign, This is two components. There's a pylon element to it that could illuminate. All of the gateway signs are intended to illuminate via solar power. Here again, we emphasize the east over Tampa versus it being of equal weight. In this concept for the directionals, we have separated each destination on a different panel, which could make it easier for changeability. We have the patterns, that the three icons that were part of that CRA plane logo are on the back side of the signs and utilize a different color in each one. And in the final concept, taking that a bit further, leaning more into that logo and you actually using the "We Are East Tampa."
1 minute.
This one is a little more colorful with the pillar. So this one's a little more colorful. We have emulate the primary sign as part of the secondary sign. On the directional signs, we incorporate a colorful banding with that pattern at the bottom. And in this palette, we change to a black background. And then on the back side of the sign, it is the three colors, the three symbols with the different colors. And in this version, we're just showing "We Are East Tampa" versus having any sort of imagery. With this concept, with all the concepts, there's a lot of mixing and matching that can happen. You might like the color of one concept over the other. We fully anticipate that there would be some blending of ideas, but we just wanted to convey a lot of different ideas for you tonight, and we are welcome and open to input.
All right, thank you so much for your presentation. At this time, we will open it up.
Thank you for your presentation. At this time, we will open it up for discussion from the committee members. Ms. Frankie Jones. Yes.
Good evening, Cedric McCray, Tampa CRA Director, East Tampa, and Drew Park CRA Manager. Before you all start discussion, I just want to remind you, and we had this conversation several months ago when they did the beginning presentation. This is wayfinding signage, directional, not neighborhood signage. So this is in gateways. So I just want to make sure that everyone's clear on that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say, before we go to you, Ms. Jones, that it is refreshing because I remember when they came a few months ago and we gave them several suggestions and they really listened to what we said as well as the community to bring back the essence of what persons were saying. So I do want to say thank you for that. Ms. Jones, we're going to start with you. Any comments that you may have? Well, when it's done, could you just put down one number on your paper at the end? Thank you.
Ms. Gaines.
Yes, I like all of the concept too. I do kind of lean more towards ones that show like the photography of, historical. And then also I just had a question, is there not, and I don't know, I'm still learning the boundaries, but like with 50th and Hillsborough, that's kind of like a gateway. I was wondering why that one wasn't kind of like considered, or 56.
Yeah, that's outside of our boundaries.
Okay.
Because it goes over the Vanna.
Okay. All right.
But we still need a number from you.
All right, I think you've done a great job at listening, and I know it's challenging when you have only 44 respondents to a survey, but we appreciate it tremendously. I will say, while I love the iconographic kind of logo that we've seen in 4 and 5, I did notice that in option 2, it seemed to be there, but still faded on the backside in concept 2. And that I thought was a really nice touch that, well, it was, maybe it was, I think it was yellow on the bottom. You could see that, and it may be a different color, but to see that logo still included in some of the schemes, especially this one, I found particularly successful.
Thank you. And I forgot to mention that. So, I'm glad you noticed.
Thank you for the presentation. I was also disappointed to hear that we only had 44 people respond, which leads me to my next question. We've had success before in the past when we've had an in-person meeting where people would go around and look at the board. We've had one here for one of our housing developments, and people got to choose what style of home they wanted to choose, and they put a little sticky note on each one so that people can pick and choose. I don't know if that's an option to potentially have an in-person meeting where this can be presented on boards and people can go around and pick, because 44 is not really representative of all of East Tampa.
Absolutely. So the in-person option was something that we explored because as many of you will recall, when this group came and did their introduction presentation, probably the most common item of feedback was that you wanted to provide your preferences and input for them to incorporate on these concepts, which is great. The two main considerations that led us to do an online option instead of having it in person was mostly time constraint. We wanted to keep the project on track as it was scheduled from the date we had gotten the notice to proceed for the contract, and also just cost. It would have inflicted some extra additional cost, and we just want to make sure that we're being responsible with the tax dollars for this district. So those were really the two main factors.
So I have a follow-up question to that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you did the gateway and the signage wayfinding for the other CRAs, is this the same process that you followed?
Is it that process, that project, is it a different? Yeah.
I'll speak to that. So we actually did not do any surveys for that project. We presented to each of the 4 CACs just to show them where we were. It was more of an informational meeting. We did present the concept to each one, and because we had 3 concepts that were presented to each CAC, it was whittled down from 5, and each CAC weighed in and gave their preference, and then that information was then given to the mayor. The mayor gave her preference, and then the CRA board ultimately approved a design.
So then they didn't even have an option of doing an online survey. It was just went to the CAC, and then that was they made the final decision. The CAC.
Correct.
And then 44 again. I'm just going to stress it because it's not really representative of all of East Tampa, and we're probably going to hear more pushback from that. I'm just being honest with you on that. And I heard you say that the mayor also had an input with that too. I'm just not that it's. I mean, surely it's okay, but the CRA and the CAC is meant for the community to have the final say. So just as a side note, that's probably not going to everybody agree that the mayor should have an input to that. So I'm just putting that out there because that's often a topic of discussion with the CRA board is how the city mixes in with the CRA, and they really try to just make it CRA for the people and for the community to have a final say for that. I do like the street banner and having the flag and having some kind of historical image on there. There's a lot of history all over the city of Tampa, and I do recognize that Ybor City has been designated as a historic landmark, but truthfully, East Tampa has some historical landmarks too, and it is worthy of historical designation. I don't know why it doesn't have it, but it is worthy of it. I was just curious that if we were to go with the option for the street banner, if you consult Tampa Bay History Center, because we have Fred Hearns, who is here,
Yep.
and we also have Ashley Morrow, who goes up to City Council every week now and gives a little history lesson.
Yep.
I would love if they were consulted so that we can make sure we capture the image of something that's representative, because a lot of times people in the East Tampa area don't feel like they get the same equity as other CRAs or around the city of Tampa. So just want to be making sure that we include them. If we were to go with that we make sure that we tell a story, and maybe it could be a story and each gateway would have something that's one big story that can really capture the essence of East Tampa culture. So that would be the two things that I would advocate. I do like the brick, especially at the MLK and Nebraska Avenue. That's my neighborhood. Traditionally, that was a brick road, and we did have the trolley going up and down Nebraska Avenue. So I do like the brick because I think that's representative of more lots of the city of Tampa was brick at some point. So I do like that. So that would be my ask, is that we do consult our East Tampa historian experts. And I understand that there's a deadline and that there is time constraints, but this is probably going to stay in place forever. So I fast and fragile is that's my saying. Like, I don't necessarily agree with moving things so swiftly because. I really would love to see more engagement and have more people have a say in this, because I would just feel terrible if this is going to be memorialized forever and only 44 people decided on it. So that's my 2 cents. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Do you feel comfortable chiming in, sir?
Absolutely.
3 minutes.
Are we going by with and through the neighborhood community associations? Have we talked to College Hill, Jackson Heights, Belmont Heights? Because I think that would probably boost our numbers of active participants with the survey or consult or feedback. I think this is wonderful. It looks aesthetically good, for lack of better terms, but I think public feedback matters as well, to get the buy-in from everyone who's there, who can see it and appreciate it each day and say, I contributed to that. So they have a little skin in the game.
Good evening, Colonel Carrington. So the CAC is comprised of representatives from a majority of the neighborhoods in East Tampa.
So just to take it back to our communities. So you just put the ball back in my court, pretty much. Thank you. And see what you did.
So that's the. Ms. Ziegler?
You'll have your comments, so once you come around, you say whatever you desire to say.
I like something about each of the 5 concepts. And I can see this as a challenging project to pull in all of those ideas they incorporate. I would I'll be a little nitpicky. I think on number 2, I think that you need a little bit more separate. If we were to go with something like number 2, to separate east just a little higher so there's more blue under it, because it's hard to see if it says east or fast if you were driving by quickly.
Sure.
I think my favorite one, I'll be honest, the one that hit me the most that I kept coming back to was number 4. And I liked it because I think you said something, well, it sort of has the impression of the obelisk without being the obelisk.
Yes.
And I also like this, I think you said it maybe had solar in it, so it kind of glows at night. I just love that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, all the gateways would be illuminated and via solar.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. But I thought this one seemed to sort of the shine of itself. So I didn't know if it was light was coming from within. So
Yes.
okay. So yeah, that's my take on it.
So the last comment I wanted to make was, I think it's good if we're doing something in our community, and something is better than nothing. I think everyone can agree with that. So let's get this started. Thank you, sir.
Ms. White.
I'll try not to make this long. This is a cute presentation, but when you look at the all except to this drawing here, when you look at the simulation of the poles, this looks like Tico's pole on the end, and the very beginning of the architecture, the base of those in the very beginning when you first start out look like the makings of or copying of Ybor cities, the antique looking with the little thing on top, and then how their poles are put up. Who's maintaining these? What's the longevity of them? And when you get to the concept on number 2, will that light be lit up? It looked like it was a light. I don't know what it was. But you had one that had like a globe on top of. I think I agree with Ms. Ziegler on the East Tampa. This, I think, is signage. I think where you're coming in from the lower end of like Ybor coming into East Tampa, something like that should maybe be helpful in industrial areas or on the Hillsborough side where you might have somebody hit it or knock it down. I'd rather see that there. But within the city limits of East Tampa, I think it needs to go along with what we've spent money on already with that, the one that you pointed out, number 4. We spent a lot of money on that concept there, that I think it should be incorporated somewhere, a lot, maybe a little bit different, but that concept should carry through because we've spent money on this design and now we're coming up with something all together. Some kind of way we've got to, and my favorite thing is GSD, because that is our focus and it's just taking too long. And 44, so if we go back and do it again, if we get 50 responses, then what are we gonna do? What's the goal in the number of responses and surveys that we're trying to get? People in East Tampa are discouraged and disenfranchised, and you're sending them something that they might have seen it or they may not have. And you only allow us to go back and do a survey one time. I don't mind going back and doing it, boosting your numbers up for you. But realistically, people are just not engaged in something that's not bettering them, where they've got to have residential living or has to do with housing. It's more beautification to me than it is what do they want? I mean, a decent place to live, sidewalks, safety, all of that is what we're asking for in East Tampa, from Nebraska Avenue all the way back, all the way to 40th or 50th Street, wherever the line stops. But that's what people are interested in. They're not interested in, we all sit and represent different neighborhoods. But what I want to see for my community is housing. The signage is fine, but what is it gonna do to get people more engaged? And again, Mr. Carrington gave an excellent recommendation. How are we getting it to our neighborhood? So we got how many neighborhood associations, Mr. Carrington? Where is he at? 12 neighborhood associations. And how many of them know what's going on? And we take it back, we can take it back. But if we don't have, what you've come up here with tonight, then how are they gonna know? It's like we're not engaging. We're back to redlining, if anybody knows what that means. Yes, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Ms. White. I wanted to ask a question because both of you, you're over time, so we want to make sure we make consistency.
Okay. So sorry.
Yes, but that's okay. That's come up 3 times about the neighborhood associations. When the survey went out, were the neighborhood association presidents included in receiving that survey for them to disseminate to their residents?
Yes, and that was emailed out during the normal list that we use traditionally.
Okay.
But to respond, they had to be on a computer.
So then I'm just trying to make sure.
So then what we could do is possibly print it out for each neighborhood association, a stack of 10 or 20, to give to them to get people to fill out in these meetings. That would boost your numbers.
After we finish the conversation, if we're not comfortable with going on with the concept, someone definitely can make a motion of how we proceed from here to disseminate this information.
Going forward.
Yeah. So for this project or something else?
Going forward for something else, for anything else in the future.
I agree with that. We just want to make sure that paper copies are disseminated to all of our neighborhood associations. But I will say this, while I'll save my comments to my time. Ms. Tate.
Okay, very good. This was one of the line items. It's been in our been on our schedule for a long time. I say we proceed with it, but going forward, we need paper copies to give to our neighborhood association members of any decisions in here, because I do have a neighborhood association of about 35 homeowners, and they come down on me about decisions made in here that I did not let them know about. Some of them have internet, but the majority of them do not. So I do need the paper copies, and I don't mind walking to their houses and going over the information with them so they can feel included. And you all were right. Exclusion and disenfranchise, we gotta stop that. We gotta stop that. So
Yes, pretty much. The people knocking on my door. What people? My neighbors, my community. Yes, yes. Asking questions. They want to know what's going on. Yes. And it's not being, their wishes and desires are not being recognized. Exactly. Maybe have the presenters come into the association meetings. Maybe we have a huge association meeting, like Mimi bring hers, I bring mine, you bring yours, everybody bring theirs together, one huge meeting.
Yeah, bring them here.
But people don't, they don't want to come this far, it's just too far. What about a Reagan Park meeting? That's accessible to you, me, have a meeting there, sit down and just chunk all the stuff out to them. Director, do we always have to meet here? Is that the rule?
We have this location reserved on the first Tuesday of each month.
No, that's for us, but I'm talking about for the community. We bring all of our association members that want to hear the presentations. Is that possible?
That's possible. These meetings are also recorded, so they can be made accessible to those neighborhood associations.
But you don't have internet though.
I understand, and we're looking at having discussions about providing some additional time and some options so that you can share that information with the members of your neighborhood association. So.
Okay, because I agree with you all. They need to be included. I mean, we just sitting here speaking for them. I got members who tell me, oh, I remember when I told you to go up there and say that. I have members like that. So that's pretty much what I had. I like.
Before we redirect.
I like concept 4.
Okay, thank you for remembering the number. Mr. Carlos De Leosa, we want to give you an opportunity to speak if you're there. I'm sorry we didn't acknowledge you earlier.
Is he on?
Okay. Miss Ebony DaCosta.
Thank you for your presentation and thank you for putting together some visuals because that's very helpful. And we can definitely see a lot of the feedback and information incorporated. So we do appreciate and thank you for that. I definitely agree with my colleagues. This has probably been an excellent opportunity for us to review engagement process when we're deciding to do things. We do want to move with the speed of light because we know we have a lot of projects outstanding and we want to start seeing things. So I understand that's important. I don't know if it's possible because I know we talked about costs and things of that sort. Whether that's a link for a survey, paper survey, we'll figure that out if we're able to do that before we make a final decision on the design, or if we're just making the decision now and moving forward. I mean, I'm good with it either way. I like concept number 4. And really just the biggest thing was just looking at how many contacts we had and really the level of participation. That was a little disappointing because being included in community engagement has been something that we're definitely always getting pressed down on and about, and we want to make sure that everyone is heard and feels like they have been included in the process.
Thank you all for your comments, and you're absolutely right. I think there has been established a precedence of what we do going forward, of how we communicate with our neighborhood associations. I think because this is their second time coming to us, they have submitted the online survey and they did what we asked them to do. It wouldn't necessarily be fair to go back and forth. For the sake of conversation that is being recorded, if you would just say what you prefer. For me, I like concept number 4. I would like for the heart of East Tampa to be somewhere at the bottom of each one. I like the illumination, but concept number 4 gives more of a cultural perspective. And Mimi, I think you're absolutely right. Each neighborhood, as you have that signage, should have some type of figure there, consulting with Ashley or Mr. Hearns about a figure that was in that area. Who was a part of that since that 1911. So I think that will be great. But I like concept number 4 with the banner somewhere at the bottom, the heart, whatever that heart statement was. And I think it kind of captures 1, 2, and 3 and bridge 4 and 5 together. So
it's at the heart of it all.
At the heart of it all. There you go. Okay. I thought about Anthony Hamilton for a minute because I think he said something like that, at the heart of it all, something like that. Anyways, all right. Miss Jones, What number? So we can have it recorded so they can go back and research it. Number 4. Number 4. Number 4. Number 4.
Not ready, come back.
Okay, Ms. Ziegler. Number 4. Ms. White, you're not ready? 4. 4. Okay, thank you. Just share 2. Okay, 2. Ms. White?
2.
2. All right, thank you. You've heard the comments from our colleagues, and so we ask that you'll take that back. And Mr. McCray, I think once again, we've set a great precedence of how we communicate with our residents that may not be computer savvy to make sure they have that information. That just means neighborhood associations. It'll be your responsibility to make sure that you're connecting, you're receiving that. I would say don't wait for Mr. McCray to come and give you the information. You go and get it so you can take it back to your residents, in my opinion. So thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you for your comments tonight.
This so that we can.
Yes, ma'am. Great question.
So that we can give them out at the meeting.
Sure.
So you have.
Is that still available for people to go up to the District 5 office?
Yes.
Okay.
Information. But as an aside, I just had a conversation with Mr. Farron. We're going to see if we can pare it down so we don't get all this verbiage on the beginning of the PowerPoint screen by these good folks, and it'll just have those options 1 through 5. So we'll work to.
To that point, that's a little bit different, right? So we have the means to bring to our neighborhood associations. But I think what we discussed going forward was we getting print copies from the city to take to. There's a difference, right?
Yes.
Me using my email paper versus the city.
And that's what I'm saying. We're going to Mr. McCray, say, hey, we need this. Your team is printing this off, letting them know, giving them maybe 72 hours. We're having our association meeting. Would you have this prepared by that time? There has to be some onus on us as well, not expecting the city to do everything because we know the ball would drop. Let's just be honest, right? They have a lot of stuff going on. So we have to take some onus to that to go back and get what we need from them. So once again, thank you.
And if I could speak to that, as you know, we had a survey and it was mailed out concerning the roundabouts. And I will be honest with you, the response that we received when I talked to Mr. Robinson, who was here last month, was not very good. Right. And those were, the box was there for residents when they got it, they could turn it into either here or in East Tampa at the District 3 station at the East Tampa office. And I think we may have gotten, it was less than 10. So and that came at great expense of the CRA to mail those out. So I just want to make you all aware, and we did that because the CAC requested that.
With all due respect, right? It goes back to what Ms. White says. If you have disenfranchised communities, they're not interested in participating. So how is the chicken or the egg, right? Do we keep giving and giving until they receive, or keep asking and asking until they give? But somehow we got to meet in the middle.
Mr. McCray, with the roundabouts, I specifically prayed that I done gave it to my people. You said 10 responses?
And I may, don't quote me on it, but I know when we looked in the box, it was less than 10 responses that were submitted at the District 3 station.
I would like to suggest that there are still 3 other presentations and we're at 7 o'clock. So I want to make sure that we are being very time sensitive. Thank you so much. I think, is Ms. Martinez for the project grants tracker? Who is that for? Okay, so, okay. I have some concerns, and I want to put this on the record since that's just for our information, that the Gator building has been around for almost 7 years. And inside of the tracker, it says not started. That is a problem. So we need to know what's going on with that. And the most interesting thing is we've been saying we need to know what's going on with it. Now I'm starting to feel that our city team is not listening to us complete. I try to give grace. God knows I do. But at this point, grace cannot be given. I think grace is winded up. It's been 7 years and there are new projects that have already been moved forward. If the city cannot do something with the Gator building, then turn it over maybe to a nonprofit or to one of these builders that come in here, give them the contract to build it out, to move quicker with what we said we wanted to see. Because the city is moving extremely slow. So give you an opportunity to speak to that.
No, I know that we've held one public engagement session within the last 6 months related to the Gator building. We've solicited feedback. We're having conversations with planning department to look at some other additional concepts based on the feedback. And I'm hoping sometime late fall, early after the holidays, we will come back with another report.
All right. I'm getting tired of hearing the word conversations with departments. We've been hearing a lot of conversation. I don't know what's happening downtown. It needs to be movement. So you say the end of the fall? I think that's October, November?
I probably would say November.
Okay.
At the earliest, or January.
Okay. Okay. All right. Number 3, housing program update.
That information should have been mailed in your packet. And as we go through, you have the commercial grants report. And also what I would like to highlight under the announcements, you may have heard some conversations at the last CRA board meeting related to the commercial grants policy update. And it was very difficult for us to find a date in very short order, basically because we have CAC meetings scheduled tonight, tomorrow night. And I think the request from the board was to try to schedule something before the next CRA board meeting on September 11th. That very difficult. I think the only date that was available, and we did not have a conflict with another CAC or CRA meeting, was September 9th. And that date would definitely be problematic for individuals and the community. So with that being said, the proposed date is October 13th. We've here in this room at 5:30, our commercial grants team will be here to present, and then that will allow our CRA board attorney, Mr. Shepard, can physically be here in the room to answer any questions that may come up from the community in concert with staff. And so that is the most optimal date. So we're looking at October 13th. There will be public notification and correspondence so that you can share with your various neighborhood association meetings or community groups. So October 13th here in this room at Hannah City Center at 5:30 p.m.
On Columbus Day.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. McCray. Your manager's report.
That was it.
That was your manager's report?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. New business. There were some
comments that came up at public comment about our CRP. Could you provide some updates on that? I think one of the comments indicated seeing an impact report for what has happened over the last 30 years connected with the CRP. So we'll know how to govern ourselves accordingly going forward. Is that possible for that impact report to be submitted with the CRP update?
That will be a component of the community redevelopment plan update. They are slated to come before you next month in October for a presentation.
I just want to clarify, I think the CRA board requested that, so I think you're going to present to the CRA board anyways about the CRP, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the.
Yes.
No, but we just want to make sure that the impact report is attached, not just the update, but the impact report. That chronicles what's happened in the last 30 years. All right. Any comments, any new announcements, anything that you'd like to share? Yes.
You have one thing. Last Thursday, the comprehensive plan update was presented at council. It was transmitted. There was a District 5 open house, literally probably a week and a half before that transmittal to council. At that open house, kind of the compromise that came down was that there were certain transit corridors within East Tampa identified where there would be density bonuses provided. Those included Nebraska, Hillsborough, MLK, 15th Street, 21st, 22nd, Columbus, and 40th Street. There was discussion. I heard the discussion at the open house regarding some of the north-south corridors perhaps being left out, such as 34th Street, because there are transit opportunities there. There was a motion made at that meeting last Thursday by Councilman Clendenin that eliminated transit corridors in East Tampa. All of those I listed except Nebraska, Hillsborough, and 40th. All the other transit corridors were eliminated. I'm not sure how folks feel about that, but I do want folks to be aware that this will have a big impact on your community, on housing options going forward, what people can build going forward, and what the density is. So it's hard to say we need a grocery store and then say, but we don't want density because nobody's going to build a grocery store if there's not enough people to shop at the grocery store. So I'm bringing this up because I'm hoping folks will go back to their communities and really have a hard conversation about what transit corridors may be valuable to their communities going forward for density. To blanket kind of wipe out all of the transit corridors in East Tampa felt by a representative that, while he's district-wide, does not represent East Tampa, was concerning to me. And I didn't hear very many people from East Tampa during public comment there. And I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, because this kind of decision has lasting implications on what a community looks like and how it develops over like the next 10 to 50 years. So if you don't want to develop 21st, 22nd, then that's something.
No, darling, I do want it developed, and we had made the plans to have it developed, but Mayor Bob Buckhorn killed all of that. We went through the numbers and everything from a Publix to Trader Joe, from Hillsborough all the way to Ybor City, and it got killed. And $1 million was given to Domain Homes, and Domain's Home built those houses. Some of them are already up for sale now, and they've been in them a year.
Right.
So we have tried to get that density in there, but
it got given away for single family homes.
Right.
So I guess I'm bringing this up again because I'm hoping folks, there was a motion made, but there will be a lot of discussion, hopefully between now and February when it goes back to council. And
Hillsborough, they've had how many stores over there? We've had Winn-Dixie, we've had Sweet Bay, we've had Jose Gonzalez. We got the third one, I don't even know, is it King Grocery Store? We've had, I don't know how many opportunities, but the money just seemingly is not there to support the larger grocery stores, because that seems to be what every grocery store, the big ones, are wanting. They are looking for the numbers that are going to be, that they can make their money and it roll over. But you can't put it where they don't want to be, and if they're not going to make the money. But we have tried for years to get a grocery store over there in that community, from Hillsborough all the way to where that sign is, 21st. And it got killed every time.
What about a smaller size? We don't have to have like a huge, not bright shining, but something smaller.
I didn't bring this up to focus on the grocery. I just used it as an example.
It's a good conversation because there are great pockets of East Tampa that are food deserts, but also know not only are they food deserts, but when we look at grocery store chains, the way that they do their data collection deals with not only ethnicity, it deals with median household income, so many different things. And because the median house income is so low in East Tampa, it diverts a lot of grocery stores from coming in the area, which is very sad.
But you can get to the smaller version of a store. It's just that they don't want to come in here.
So then that goes,
somebody gotta be willing to come in here, and we just get a smaller version. We need some fresh produce, I'm telling you.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm telling you how the data is collected. So what happens is, then that goes back to the mayoral office, the administration, for them to begin to lobby for those particular grocers to come to that area.
Yes.
Because it's not just for your local city council person to do that. You will need the
Right.
mayor's office to
You're right.
champion that as well. So we got to stay on the administration about those things, and we have to know who can do what. Everything is not city council. Everything is not the mayor's office. You got to know where the lines, and not only that, you have to know when you're looking for something to come into the neighborhood, what type of research and data they're looking for to go there. So you need somebody to go back and advocate for the community. So whoever's running for office, if they're not for District 5, they're not for East Tampa, then you got a problem. You got to hold them to the fire. This is what we need, and that advocacy comes from the mayor's office.
They should know by now.
So,
My
but anyways,
God,
we have to go.
screaming
That was my.
for
I was
help,
just.
running.
No, Miss, we got a good.
No, I'm saying we got to go to her
Yeah.
because Ms. Hedlund had just finished, and so it's on Mimi.
No, Miss Hedlund's not finished.
Oh, you weren't done? I thought you were.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
I am so sorry.
No,
Please
we're
go
good.
back. It was a great conversation.
It's-
You sure?
Yes. we're
Okay,
good.
I apologize. Yes.
I would just say, unfortunately, this is what happens when we don't have the community engaged and they're just not aware of, there are hardcore plans that are being set in motion for us that's gonna impact us for a long time. I will say that I do support the density along the major corridors, like the Hillsborough, Nebraska Avenue, because honestly, when you look at the other neighborhoods that are more affluent, they don't have a neighborhood grocery store because their Publix is on Del Mabry. They're on the major corridor, so there's a way that you can still get like a corner deli store or something, but traditionally those major supermarkets are on major roadways. They're not inside the residential neighborhoods. There are a lot of parts of the city of Tampa neighborhoods who do not want any density and they want the single family homes because there's less traffic and there's less people walking around. So we have to be careful because in East Tampa, we want the density in East Tampa because we want more affordable housing options. So, and I support that, but we also have to be careful because if other neighborhoods are saying, not in my backyard, all those developers are gonna come to East Tampa.
So
They're not, and they're gonna be market value.
Fees too.
They're gonna be market value. So what I'm saying is that get the word out and just be plugged in, even if it's just one person watching the city council meetings, just to go back and pass it on to your residents. But change is coming. I do think that we are going to be okay eventually. I do. I think that East Tampa is going to be okay. I think we just need to keep advocating for affordable housing. The developers are coming. There's no doubt about that. We don't have flood zones in East Tampa. They're coming.
Right.
So we just need to make sure that we continue to advocate for mixed incomes. Because, down on Channel side, their definition of affordable housing is 120, 140 AMI, so that's not for us. But I feel like I don't want anybody to feel like we're screwed now, because we're not. But we just have to be very careful of advocating for that affordable housing component, and so we still have a chance. So I just don't want people to get like heartbroken and think that we're
But we were
over, we're not.
approved for Trader
But
Joe's.
if anything, this is a wake up call that now more than ever you need to pay attention, because this comp plan, the Hillsborough County Board of Commissioners, they're not on our side.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, definitely.
So we just need to be mindful and just
And we don't
pay
have
attention
a
to
seat
that.
for anybody at District 5 to even speak up for us.
So
That's the big problem now. They're shoving stuff out overnight because there's nobody in that seat to
we have
help us.
3 officers at
No,
large.
I'm talking about the District 5 seat. The budget has already passed and been approved. Now we're trying to shove some other stuff down and get it done before that seat is filled. There's a lot going on.
Yes, behind the scenes.
I do think we will be okay. I think we just have to be
Yeah,
very.
we will be okay.
With the way we have to be very in the
It
know.
took,
We have to know who to lobby, because it's all about lobbying and partnership.
Right.
And we're gonna have to make some compromises.
It took
That's just
Katrina
reality.
20 years. It's gonna take us 50, and Sulphur Springs will be ahead of us. But we'll get it done.
Okay, I'll make this quick as I can. I had to write these comments down, right? So I'm from East Tampa, right? I was born in Tampa Heights near Robles, and raised in Belmont Heights. And I was schooled in Seminole Heights, right? And I graduated from Hillsborough High School in the late 80s. And the Seminole Heights I see now is not the Seminole Heights that was there in the 80s, right? I look north of Tampa Heights or north of downtown with the, help me out, Special Services District and the Armature Works development and the Riverwalk. And anyone who remembers Armature Works before it was Armature Works, there was nothing there. It was barren. And the UT expansion, right? So my point is Channelside, Harbor Island, Convention Center. I see all this development. Help me. I think we're all saying the same thing. We need to see that same type of energy and development and investment in East Tampa that we see right near us in South Seminole Heights, right? In Ybor City, we see some development, but why are we being overlooked? How do we get on the same accord to make sure? So the street signage, yeah, it may not be perfect, but I'm ready for us to start making small wins to gain the confidence of the public so they can then invest into us and give us feedback so we can give it back to the city so they can start doing things. But we got to do something. But I've seen over 40 years, I'm sorry, the development from nothing to phenomenal. And East Tampa's just sitting there still kind of.
I was just going to say, Colonel, what you just said is absolutely correct. This goes back to the point that I was making earlier. Those neighborhoods changed because they were at the forefront of the administration. And that's what they wanted to see happen. It's not until we elect somebody that has a heart for East Tampa, we're not going to see things move. Not like that. Right. We can have our different signage and things of that nature until you get someone in that mayor's office that puts us at the top of their agenda and says, this is what we want for affordable housing, and we track it.
Okay, but
without somebody, I'm just saying for an example, I'm not calling names. I'm just saying.
Hold on, Mayor Johnson, before you finish your campaign pitch. And
I'm not campaigning. I'm just telling you.
I've heard everyone say it doesn't come overnight, and it doesn't, right? It doesn't, but we got to start somewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's going to take a long time for us to get to close the gap, but we have to be intentional and deliberate in what we do now.
Absolutely.
And I just ask that we carry that forward because a lot of times we actively engage and challenge other thoughts about development and projects in East Tampa when we need to find ways to rally behind these projects to get them.
100%. 100%.
Yes. Ms. Ziegler.
And the CRAs are going to sunset, so.
Yep.
8 years.
We gotta make some decisions.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Well said.
Well, I wanted to hear, Kim, if you had anything else to say. I feel like maybe there was something more.
Well, I didn't mean to derail the conversation by bringing
Not a
up
derail.
grocery
No,
stores,
not a
but
derail.
what I did want to stress is that I think with the continuance, that blanket motion by Councilman Clendenin was concerning because it just kind of wiped out a big swath of East Tampa from even consideration or discussion. And I still feel like our communities need to have a seat at the table and need to be making those conversations happen, either with the Planning Commission or with a representative. It's not a one size fits all. You know, while there are sections of Columbus, as we've seen from recent projects, that may benefit from, you know, an increase of density and bonus densities, there are other areas that's like 15th Street along Cascaden Park and to the north into Ybor Heights that may say, hey, we really can't sustain any more density in this area. We don't want that on 15th Street. But to have the conversations with your communities kind of at the neighborhood level is so important, and we have till February. So please, 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 if anybody needs to know who to contact me, let me know, and I'll put you in touch with the folks at the Planning Commission.
Okay.
How long we're gonna come around?
I would like to, well, thank you. I would like to give them my input. I talked to one of the council members at our meeting at C. Blythe Andrews Library for this, and it was actually Lynn Hertak, and she said, just because the corridors are transit ready, it doesn't mean that it will all be developed. It's just the option that it could be. So I'm supporting what you're saying, that, yeah, the option is there. I personally like I definitely think those 4 heavy hitter highways, like Hillsborough is a highway. Hillsborough Avenue is a highway, technically. I think those definitely make sense, but I agree. I think we should add some of the inner ones. And I just to talk about the grocery we have so many grocery stores in East Tampa, so I'm always confused why people are debating it. In fact, I started listing them all for myself. We don't have a Publix, and that seems what everybody really wants is a Publix.
No, not
We can't afford a Publix.
Not
Exactly.
necessarily.
We can't afford a Publix. The income's not high enough. I had a friend who wanted to start a Chick-fil-A franchise, and they said, no, not in East Tampa. The salaries are not high enough yet. You got to get the income up to get these, you know, the goodies. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. So I'm like, gosh, I would have liked a Chick-fil-A. But yes, we do have grocery stores here, and they are at the edges. Like Hillsborough Avenue alone has, Sanwa is fabulous for fresh produce. Go to Sanwa, Walmart Supercenter, you have Winn-Dixie, you have the little corner stores spread throughout it, the bodegas, but, yeah.
People that can't drive there.
Sir, no public comment.
What about the people that can't drive?
Then that is an issue.
There used to be, Lee Davis used to have the Sunshine Bus that they would take people from Tampa Housing Authority to, but again, federal dollars ran out. They had the ridership, but the money ran out. So there's always something, and just so you are aware, federal budget starts in October. There is no word as of today as to what money, if any money, is coming to Hillsborough County to support low income. So just be prepared. Things are changing. And nobody's talking about it, nobody's saying anything. But just be aware and be prepared. There are changes that are coming, and there are a lot more people that are going to be affected.
Ms. Ziegler, did you finish? Ms. White,
yeah.
you had your okay, Ms. White, did you finish? Were those your comments?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Tate.
Personally, I don't want to see any of our people pushed out. It's happening, and I'm saddened about it, and I want it to stop. I've been walking and talking to the community. They don't want that West Tampa look. They said they don't want that, but they understand that this city does need to come. They're saying they need a store. I live in an area that has 2 mom and pops. Kids cross the street to go purchase Slim Jims. That's their go-to food item for their little tummies. And that has got to stop. What is a Slim Jim? There's no protein in there. There's no nutrition. It's got to stop. That's my comment.
Mr. Costa.
Sorry, I just drew a blank. I'm just taking it all in. I know I did. Let me wrap up. I would just say that let's lean on one another to, make impactful and intentional and thoughtful decisions so that we can really start seeing some progress, and let's do whatever it takes to ensure accountability is there. Because just in my short time that I've been here, I've been hearing about projects that have been sitting for a while, and, et cetera. And I know that the community has expressed those concerns as well. But I do want us to not get too distracted and not make some progress that we can make. So my settlement's exactly with a lot of everything that you guys are saying. So let's just say, let's work together where we are doing our part to make sure that the community is engaged and information is getting out. And let's just see some progress. Let's work on progress together.
Quick redirect, Ms. White.
I'll make this very quick. When we're talking about neighborhood engagement, please go to your district of Hillsborough County School District and look up Code of Conduct. They have now released a 100-page document of the changes that are taking place with kids in Hillsborough County School District. When it comes down to bullying and everything, that all that information is there. Please take it back to your organizations and anybody, because they're grandparents, single parents that are raising children. These kids are going to be kicked out of school. They have all new policies and procedures. And that's Code of Conduct under the Hillsborough County School District. And I'm one of their representatives. So I'll bring the information to you.
I think Middleton High School has it posted on their page.
They do, but a lot of the parents have no idea. PTAs have no ideas. If you know somebody that's in the PTA, please let them know. Thank you very much.
Ms. Ziegler, quick redirect. Can we to adjourn?
Maybe we could direct the new projects that are be coming on Osborne and 29th Street, if any kind of food opportunities could be there, like small grocery store or fresh food prepared or something, economical.
So since it's not up for vote tonight, and of course I couldn't speak on it last month, that is a part of the development of the Heights on the 29th, where the CDC to partner with a grocery store to be on the corner lot that we already own. We own that open air market, so we're looking to develop a grocery store in that area. On the other side of the street will be the mixed-use housing for residential as well as business. So that's what we're working on.
Can we use the Gator building for a grocery store?
Listen, the city can
Parking.
The city can hand that over to the CDC and we'll know what to do with it.
Please.
That's the only thing I would say. I'll let that go. I'll let that go. One thing I will say before adjournment, I don't have all of the details, but I will ask all of you to have your listening ear to some of the things that Representative Owen is looking to do. They're looking to scrap Hart Line, the bus company. And we know a lot of our residents, they are dependent upon public transportation. A lot of our college students, they don't have cars. They're looking, and everything is not Bulls transportation. So we definitely want to be mindful of what's going to happen in this legislative session that will start back the beginning of 2026. We need to talk about what's going to happen. I think this is Diane Hart's last year. So we need to talk to her as she goes up with her agenda. But I do know, I've been hearing that they're looking at somehow getting rid of the Hart bus line, saying
or pushing it off to the city.
Or but again, we know what's going to happen with the city. The city is not going to take their liability,
and they're going to come and ask for money.
So so we just have to be prepared about what's going to happen with that. Keep our ears open to those conversations. So we're going to bring this meeting to adjournment at 7:23.
Thank you. Thank you. Great meeting, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson.